Hello, I'm Katie Bagandi of the Haverford Democrats Issues and Actions team. I'm joined today by Rachel Amdur, who is the chair of the Haverford Township Democratic Committee. Rachel, I know that you have lots of information that we need to know before we vote on the primary on May 18th. So tell us a little bit about who can vote in the primary, because I've heard it's different than other years.
It is different this year. It is different. Pennsylvania has something called closed primaries, which means that the candidates on the ballot, the Republicans can only vote for Republicans, the Democrats can only vote for Democrats. Usually that leaves out anybody that is not in one of those two registered parties. But when we have ballot initiatives, every registered voter can vote. That means independents, other, Green Party, whatever you are, if you're registered to vote, not only can you vote, you should vote. These ballot initiatives are very important and are going to affect all of us.
All right, so everyone get out to vote on the ballot initiatives and help us understand how many ballot initiatives, where do we find them?
So they're on the back side. As you know, we've all gone to hand-marked paper ballots. On one side, you will see the candidates. If you're a Republican, they'll be Republican. If you're a Democrat, there'll be Democrats. On the back side, you will see exactly this. This is what it's going to look like. If you're an independent or non-party voter, you'll just have a page. It'll just be one side. It'll look exactly like this, right across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Great, thank you. So we know there's going to be ballot measures. We know that everyone can vote on these measures. As a voter, though, I hear ballot measure and I get nervous because the language is hard to understand usually for me, and I'm really confused in terms of what these measures even mean. So could you help us? If I give you one by one, can you go through and tell us what it means and what you recommend?
I'd love to. Legalese is a language that none of us are meant to understand, and they need to say what they need to say because I don't know. But anyway, proposed amendment number 1.
Yeah. Called the termination or extension of disaster emergency declaration. So it sounds like something's changing. Can you give us a little bit about how this process works currently and how this proposed amendment would change the situation?
Absolutely. So currently, only the governor can initiate or end a disaster resolution. The state law gives the legislature the ability to pass something against that, but it has to pass by 2/3 of a vote, just like we all learned in elementary school. So it gives the state law legislature, the legislature can pass a resolution to terminate the emergency declaration, just like they can with anything the governor signs. And then the governor can veto that bill. This constitutional amendment changes all of it. What it says is the legislature can pass by simple majority, which means 50% of the legislature plus one can pass an amendment that ends the disaster emergency, and it removes the governor's ability to veto it. Removes it. The governor is not allowed. Now, just to show you how ridiculous it is, there's only one other time in the Pennsylvania Constitution that the governor is not allowed to veto something the legislature passes. And that's when the legislature passes, when they vote on an amendment to adjourn their legislative session. That's the only other thing that the governor can't veto. So this is a hard no.
Yeah, it sounds very out of line with everything else, how everything else is run.
So the Haverford Dems, the Delco Dems, and the PA Dems all say no.
No. Okay, thank you. So ballot question number 2 seems related. This one is called Disaster Emergency Declaration and Management. Again, tell us a little bit about what exactly this changes.
So currently, the governor makes an emergency declaration for 90 days. And then he can manage that. After the 90 days, he can renew it or end it. That's the governor's prerogative. What this is doing is the General Assembly is saying that from 90 days, it would be 21 days. And after the initial 21 days, the governor, the continuation of the emergency resolution would have to be voted on by the General Assembly. The General Assembly would get to determine every 21 days, this would have to be renewed. Now, first of all, just the mechanics of it is ridiculous. The General Assembly isn't in session all the time, which is ridiculous. It also means that every 21 days, we need 253 legislators legislators to agree with how to handle this how to handle this emergency, which we don't, this unknown emergency. But yet it is the governor that has the ability to call up the National Guard. It is the governor who manages the health department. It is the governor who has those resources of the state that might be needed in an emergency, not the legislature. So I don't know about you, but I don't need a crisis managed by 253 people who have no expertise in emergency management.
Right. Sounds like it would add a lot of extra process in a time where it's an emergency. You don't have extra time.
Right. And honestly, it just makes it partisan, even more partisan. This is an overreaction, as well as the first one, to what happened with the COVID reaction by Governor Wolf. Governor Wolf can't be reelected. The next governor's not going to be Governor Wolf. The next governor might not be a Democrat, but I still think that the governor is the person elected by every voter in the state. The governor is the one that should represent the state in an emergency. Okay. Whatever that might be, we have no idea. No one saw COVID coming. We don't know what's next.
Right. So you're recommending a no vote on ballot.
Again, hard no.
No. Great. Going on to number 3. This one is titled Prohibition Against Denial or Abridgment of Equality of Rights Because of Race or Ethnicity. Again, give us a quick explanation of what this means.
This one's easy. There's no hard legalese here. It's no complex wording. It's not partisan. It's just a stunningly overdue addition to our Constitution. I was shocked to know this wasn't in the PA Constitution. The US Constitution takes over, but it's about time that we say it out loud.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yes vote. Great.
Absolutely.
And ballot question number 4, making municipal fire and EMS companies eligible for loans. What does this mean?
Currently, there is a program through the state that allows volunteer fire departments and EMS to participate in a loan program so that they can buy the best equipment for their communities. All this state referendum does is it opens up the loan program for companies that have paid staff, which means if your town has a professional fire and EMS, big cities, it allows them to participate in a loan program so they can get better equipment and hopefully save more lives. This is a yes.
No-brainer. Helps all Pennsylvanians.
Absolutely.
Vote all right.
Yes.
So give us the 4 votes in order of those 4 ballot initiatives.
So all you have to remember is no, no, yes, yes. It's right there. It's easy. Keep the governor power, keep the governor the power to do the emergency legislation. Vote yes for our race and ethnicity diversity, and vote yes to give EMS and fire ability to borrow money to get better equipment.
Great. Thanks so much, Rachel, for giving us all that information to help us know before we vote on or before May 18th. And if you want to learn more, we have some resources listed here where you can read about the ballot initiatives, and we'll be sure to share these links directly in our Facebook page so that you can click and get to that info quickly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Don't forget to vote.